Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Easy English Learning Podcast, where we learn English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Lily.
And I'm James. Lily, you sound very awake today. Did you already have 3 cups of coffee before we started recording?
No, just one. But today's topic gave me energy before the coffee even arrived.
That's a dangerous kind of energy. Mine usually needs the coffee first, and even then, it arrives a little late.
I believe that. And actually, that's a perfect way to start today's episode because we're talking about morning routines.
The topic that makes everyone feel either very inspired or very guilty.
Exactly. Not the kind of morning routine where you wake up at 5, exercise for an hour, meditate, drink a green smoothie, and read 20 pages all before sunrise.
Right, the routine that makes you feel like a failure by 7 a.m.
That one. We're not talking about that today.
Good, because my mornings usually involve finding my phone, then finding my glasses, then realizing I'm already late.
That's very relatable. And that's exactly why I think this topic matters so much. A lot of people want self-discipline, but they also have real lives. Busy mornings, tired mornings, mornings where you can't even find a matching pair of socks.
That happens more than people admit.
It really does. So today we're talking about morning routines for self-discipline, not as pressure, but as a way to keep one small promise to yourself every day. And we'll also talk about how a simple routine can help your English improve little by little.
Before we go deeper, Lily, I want to mention something.
Go ahead.
We've read so many comments from you, our listeners, and many of you say you listen to this podcast during your morning routine, while making breakfast, while getting ready, during your commute.
And that genuinely means a lot to us. If someone chooses to spend a small part of their morning with us, that's not a small thing at all.
No, it's trust. And in a way, many of you have already built a disciplined English habit without even realizing it.
You show up, you listen, you repeat, and little by little, you learn. That's why we keep returning to topics like discipline, growth, and confidence, not because we want to repeat ourselves, but because every time there's a new lesson hidden inside.
A new angle, a new feeling, a new sentence for real life. So if this podcast can be a small source of motivation in your morning, or a friendly voice when you feel tired, then that really matters to us.
It does. So today's episode is for anyone trying to build a better morning, a better English habit, and a little more trust in themselves.
Beautifully said, Lily.
Thank you. That was my disciplined moment for the day.
Already? You're off to a strong start.
I like that energy. But let me be honest, James. For a long time, my biggest morning problem wasn't that I didn't know what to do.
That's an important distinction.
I knew exactly what would help me. I knew I should wake up and use my time well. I knew I should practice English. I knew I should start the day calmly.
But knowing and doing are 2 very different things.
Exactly. That line hurts because it's true. I've experienced it many times.
Same here. I used to write beautiful morning plans the night before.
That's always risky.
Very risky. At night, I'd write a list like wake up early, exercise, read for 20 minutes, practice English, plan the whole week, stay calm and positive.
Stay calm and positive as a task to complete.
I know. Morning James would look at that list and think, who wrote this and why did they believe in me so much?
Night people are always very brave. Night James says, tomorrow everything changes.
And morning James says, let's just start with opening both eyes first.
That's a fair starting point, honestly.
But that's the real pain, isn't it? You make a plan, you don't follow it, and then you don't just feel tired, you feel disappointed in yourself.
That's the part people rarely talk about.
Yes, the guilt shows up early, before coffee, before breakfast, before the day even gets a real chance to begin.
And once the morning starts with guilt, everything feels heavier for the rest of the day.
Exactly. And English becomes part of that guilt too.
You think, I should practice English today. Then the day gets busy, then it becomes evening, and you say, I'll do it tomorrow.
English becomes a tomorrow thing.
And tomorrow becomes tomorrow again.
That feels painfully familiar to a lot of learners, I think.
And I want learners listening right now to know something important. That struggle doesn't mean you're lazy.
No, not at all. Sometimes you're tired, busy, unsure, maybe even a little overwhelmed.
Maybe you want to speak English, but you feel shy. Maybe you've stopped and restarted many times already.
And every time you stop, you lose a little trust in yourself.
That's very honest, James.
That's why I believe a morning routine isn't really about time, it's about trust. Trust with yourself.
If I keep one small promise in the morning, I feel like a different person for the rest of the day.
You start the day with proof.
Proof that I showed up for myself.
That's self-discipline in its most human form.
Not loud discipline.
No,
Not angry discipline.
not at all.
Just, I said I would do one small thing and I did it.
That one small moment can change the feeling of the entire day.
I think a lot of learners need exactly that. Not a huge routine, just one small win.
A win you can actually repeat tomorrow.
Because if the routine is too big, it collapses the very first time life gets messy.
I know that feeling well. A good routine should support your real life, not judge it.
That's a powerful line.
It took me a long time to learn it.
So what actually helped you, James?
I made my morning smaller.
Smaller. What do you mean?
I stopped trying to fix my entire life before breakfast. Instead, I chose one small thing I could return to every single day.
I really like that phrase, to return to.
For me, it was sitting with my coffee and reading one short English sentence slowly with full attention.
Just one sentence.
Just one sentence, but I treated it like it actually mattered.
That sounds completely different from a normal study session.
It was different. It didn't feel like a heavy lesson. It felt more like a small personal ritual.
Ritual. That word feels warm somehow.
A ritual is something you do regularly, but with real meaning behind it. It feels more personal than just a habit.
So a habit is something you repeat, but a ritual is something you return to because it actually means something to you.
That's a lovely way to put it.
I like that distinction because I don't want English to feel like punishment. I want it to feel like something I welcome into my morning.
Yes, something that has a real place in your life.
Like English sits at the breakfast table with you in a way.
Maybe right next to your coffee.
Maybe. But honestly, when English becomes part of a ritual, it feels much less intimidating.
It becomes familiar.
Familiar. That matters because many learners already know English, but it still feels far away the moment they try to speak.
Yes, the words live safely in the notebook, but they're not always ready in your mouth.
That's exactly the problem. I know the word until someone actually asks me a question.
And then the word quietly disappears like it had somewhere else to be.
That's why repeated, gentle practice matters so much, and a morning routine simply gives that practice a place to live.
A place to live. Now I'm learning something from my own words.
Good. That's how it should work.
Lily, can we talk about the word consistency for a moment? Because I think that's really what we've been describing this whole time.
Yes, consistency means doing something regularly, again and again, instead of doing it perfectly just once.
That's exactly what I needed early on. Not one perfect morning, but the same small action repeated many times.
And consistency builds something called momentum.
Momentum. I love that word. It feels like movement.
Momentum means the energy or force that builds up once something is already moving. Once you start, it becomes easier to continue.
So the hardest part isn't continuing, it's just starting in the first place.
Exactly. The first small step creates momentum, and momentum carries you through the rest.
That explains why the first English sentence of the day feels the hardest, but the second one already feels lighter.
Yes, and once you have momentum, your mindset begins to shift too.
Mindset, meaning the way you think about something, your general attitude towards it.
Exactly. If your mindset is, I have to be perfect, failure feels devastating. But if your mindset is, I'm simply showing up today, failure feels much smaller, almost unimportant.
A small mindset shift can completely change how a whole routine feels.
It really can. And I think this is where commitment comes in.
Commitment, a serious promise to keep doing something even when it's difficult.
Commitment isn't about feeling motivated every single day. Motivation comes and goes, but commitment stays.
So on the days I don't feel like practicing English at all, commitment is what keeps me going anyway.
Exactly. And that's where resilience becomes important too. Resilience, the ability to recover quickly after a difficulty or a setback.
If you miss 2 days, resilience is what brings you back on day 3 instead of giving up completely.
I love that because most people don't fail from one bad day. They fail because they never come back after it.
That's such an important point. Real discipline isn't about never falling out of rhythm. It's about learning how to return without punishing yourself for it.
That one really lands for me. I needed to hear that.
Me too, honestly. And I think the final piece of this puzzle is being intentional.
Intentional, doing something on purpose with a clear reason behind it instead of doing it randomly.
When your morning routine is intentional, even 5 minutes of English feels meaningful because you chose it deliberately.
It's not an accident, it's a decision.
Exactly. A small, intentional decision, repeated with consistency, supported by commitment and protected by resilience.
When you put it that way, it sounds less like a chore and more like a quiet kind of strength.
That's exactly what it is.
Lily, I think this is where our learners need real, usable sentences. I completely agree, because many learners feel these emotions, but they don't always know how to express them naturally in English.
They might simply say, "My morning is bad," but the feeling is usually much more specific than that.
Or they say, "I study English," when really they want to explain the habit, the effort, and the deeper reason behind it.
Let's give our listeners a few natural sentences they can actually use when talking about their own mornings.
Great idea. Real sentences for real, imperfect mornings.
I'll go first. I study English in the morning.
Clear, but it doesn't show any consistency or routine.
How about, I try to stay consistent with English even if it's only for 5 minutes a day.
That sounds much more natural, and it shows real effort without sounding extreme.
Here's another one. My morning is messy.
True for many of us. We could say instead, I lose my momentum when my morning doesn't have any structure.
That gives the feeling a clear, specific name.
Your turn now, James.
Okay, my routine helps me.
True, but a little empty and vague.
We could say, my morning routine keeps my mindset positive, even on difficult days.
Now the routine is actually doing something meaningful for you.
One more. I want to improve my English.
A big dream and a very common one. We could say instead, I'm committed to practicing English a little every morning, even when I don't feel motivated.
That sentence feels calm and realistic, not like pressure at all.
Exactly, and that's the whole point of this segment. Saying it better isn't about making English sound fancy.
No, it's about making the truth easier to express.
I love that, making the truth easier to say.
And these are exactly the kinds of sentences our learners need to practice repeatedly. Otherwise, they sound nice in the moment, but disappear later when it's time to actually speak.
That happens so often. You hear a sentence, you understand it perfectly, but using it spontaneously in conversation is a completely different skill.
The sentence runs away at the worst possible moment.
That's exactly why we created the Easy English Learning Club. It's our way of helping the words and phrases from every episode actually stick in your memory.
So our learners don't just listen once and hope everything stays in their head.
Inside the club, you'll find an interactive transcript, shadowing practice, quizzes, fun games, and episode practice packs.
So you read it, you hear it, you repeat it, you practice it, you remember it, and finally, you actually use it.
For this episode, words like consistency, momentum, mindset, commitment, resilience, and intentional can become part of your real everyday English, not just words you heard once during a podcast.
That's exactly the goal. And we'll also be releasing short videos and animated stories soon to help these words come to life even more.
I love that, because words really do need a place to live.
They do. You can find the link to the Easy English Learning Club in the description box below this video.
These words are worth keeping in your everyday vocabulary.
They really are. They describe this entire journey we've talked about today.
Let's slow these words down one at a time. Our first word is consistency.
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 Consistency means doing something regularly and repeatedly instead of doing it perfectly only once. Maybe you practice English for just 10 minutes every single morning.
You could say, I'm finally building consistency with my English practice.
Or maybe your friend gives up after only a few days. You could say, he struggles with consistency when he tries to learn something new.
And if a simple routine helps you stay regular, you can say, my morning routine gives me more consistency.
Good. Our next word is momentum.
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 Momentum is the energy or force that builds up once something is already moving forward. Maybe you finish one small task and suddenly the next one feels easier.
You could say, finishing one sentence gave me momentum to keep practicing.
Or maybe your motivation grows once you actually get started. Then you could say, once I start studying, I build momentum quickly.
And if stopping for too long makes things harder, you can say, I lost my momentum after taking a break.
Nice. Our next word is mindset.
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 Mindset. Mindset means your general way of thinking or your attitude towards something. Maybe you used to think mistakes were embarrassing, but now you see them differently.
You could say, my mindset about mistakes has completely changed.
Or maybe you focus on progress instead of perfection now. Then you could say, having a growth mindset helps me enjoy learning English.
And if your attitude shapes how your whole day feels, you could say, a positive mindset makes my mornings easier.
Beautiful. Our next word is commitment.
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 Commitment is a serious promise to keep doing something even when it becomes difficult. Maybe you decide to practice English daily, no matter how busy you are.
You could say, I made a commitment to practice English every single day.
Or maybe motivation disappears, but you continue anyway. Then you could say, my commitment keeps me going even without motivation.
And if you want to express long-term dedication, you can say, learning a language requires real commitment.
Great. Our next word is resilience.
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 Resilience is the ability to recover quickly after a difficulty, a mistake, or a setback. Maybe you miss a few days of practice, but choose to start again.
You could say, I showed resilience by returning to my routine after a break.
Or maybe a mistake while speaking doesn't discourage you anymore. Then you could say, resilience helps me keep speaking even after I make a mistake.
And if you want to describe bouncing back from failure, you can say, her resilience is the reason she never gave up on English.
Lovely. Our final word is intentional.
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 Intentional means doing something on purpose with a clear reason instead of doing it randomly or by accident. Maybe you choose your morning English practice deliberately instead of doing it only when you remember.
You could say, I'm intentional about practicing English every morning.
Or maybe you plan your day with clear purpose. Then you could say, being intentional with my time helps me stay disciplined.
And if you want to describe a deliberate decision, you can say, choosing one small habit was an intentional choice, not an accident.
Beautiful. Now let's put all 6 words together in one short story.
I used to lack consistency in my mornings, but once I started small, I built momentum quickly. My mindset changed and I made a real commitment to practice English daily. Even when I missed a day, my resilience brought me back. Now, being intentional with just 5 minutes every morning has changed everything.
That was clear, natural, and honestly very useful.
It also sounds like something a real learner could actually say about their own life.
Exactly. And now it's your turn. What is one small morning habit that helps you stay disciplined?
Write one sentence in the comments below. It doesn't need to be perfect, just honest.
One honest sentence is already practice, and practice is how English slowly becomes part of your life.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart. This is Lily.
And this is James.
And you've been listening to the Easy English Learning Podcast.
Bye for now.